You mind aiming this?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll take over for you, or we can hand it to Nick whenever he gets here. All right, this time you definitely get to give him a hard time. All right, good morning. Have we clicked out? Yep. It's time to do this. How are you today? How go the projects? Big sigh from this group. Core functions are working. I guess we're in phase 3 here. So just as a friendly reminder, this is what we're up to this week. We're going to have Code Sprint 11 on Friday. This will be regular expressions. I'll show you those today. They're a fun kind of puzzly thing to play with here, so hopefully you enjoy that and find some value. Reminder, one more time, these are the things you should be done with, and I hope you are at this point. We are getting close to a problem if you haven't finished those things, and that is that if you haven't finished them by this Friday, then you won't be eligible for any of the phases of the project. The result of that is that the highest grade you'll be able to earn in the course is a C, and that's presuming 100% on everything else by the end of the semester. So, help me help you show up at all the places that we help you, and we will get you over these thresholds. We are sending out notifications, so you should have emails from us letting you know whether you're eligible for each phase or not. And recognize that there are 234 of you, having turned in 23 assignments each. You can do the math. That's thousands of grade entries. And so don't take it personally if we've made a typo. Send us an email and we will be more than happy to correct it. You can assume we meant well rather than trying to stick it to you. Reminder, here's what we're working on this week. We're adding all the bells and whistles, revising your main function, getting everything working. We're hoping that on Monday when you submit your latest report, you'll have a fully functional graphical user interface. And then phase 4 is going to be the final revisions, really getting this thing working well. And you'll be recording a video screenshot demoing your app actually working in real time. Once again, we would like you to please submit a single PDF. There are no extensions, so submit what you have. One submission per group is all we need. Drop the names on of everybody that's working on it. And we want these items to be in that report. This PDF will be posted so that you can read these bullets and do it yourself. All of the lectures are posted on Canvas for your use there. Questions? Logistics? Issues? Okay, in that case, we're going to wrap up dictionaries today. I appreciate you sticking with it, and I realize that this their code and have them point out a few of the nuances. How's the font in the back row? We good? Thumbs are up? Cool. Okay. And there's an incentive for staying tuned through this that I'll let you know at the end, but I appreciate you sticking with it. I know this is a hard concept. So let me bring Tuke back up. He's got about 10 minutes to tell you some of the nuances of Swift. So again, we need both of these on you. Nah, just clip it. So you can pinch your shirt and clip it, and that works pretty well. I just jam these in my back pocket, so I don't have to worry about them.
You broke it!
That's it. Fired.
Thank you. Gotta be careful with these.
Yeah, I don't know why I did these off so easy.
Alright, cool. Alright, hello everyone. Hello. Sorry for the rush last time. So I'm going to be going over Swift. So the first thing you got to recognize that each of these first three functions are what called daughter functions. So they are like little functions that do like specialized tasks. And so each of them is going to be called within this main functions right here. Depends on like what the options are. So if it's option add user, you're going to return add user. And then if option something else, yeah, you got to call that. So since this is the main functions, it expects a void return value. So what does void mean? So in Swift, void returns like an empty tuple, which is like an empty list. So whenever you use void, you don't have to return a particular values. So maybe you want to write a functions that print out stuff, but does not like return a value. You can just use void. So within this main functions, you have void, right? So you got to make sure that each of these daughter functions that you are going to call in this main functions do like return void value the same thing as like the main functions. But like in the original hackerang, so these right here are not void. So I just changed it to void. And so for the first daughter functions, which is the add user, you got to make like the user info dictionary mutable first. So the thing about Swift is that the user info dictionary was created as a let constant. So a constant is something that you created, but you cannot change it. So now we create a new variable, and we're going to call it mutable. And that mutable variable is going to have the identical data type as the user info. But one plus point for this mutable dictionary is that you can change like the data within it. So you got to declare mutable for that, and then you got to apply the merge built-in method. So what merge do is that it merge two dictionary together. But remember, these two dictionary that you are going to merge together have to be the same data type, right? So we're good with that because this is the same data type as this. So this is like integer, and then an array of string follow that, and this is integer, and an array of string follow that. So it's the same, so we don't have to worry about that. And this part, the current part, means that whenever you merge two dictionary together, so it's gonna keep like whatever data is still in there intact. So say if you want to merge something that of like maybe of the same key but like have a different value, you can use current. So basically what it does is that it keeps whatever data within the original dictionary the same, but it adds new value. But like this value, this new dictionary, if that new dictionary has the same key as the original dictionary, they're gonna keep like two keys separate. It's not gonna change. So that's what current means. So you gotta merge that, and then you just sort it by keys. So like so that's what they want you to do in the when you return like the data. So you got to make sure that everything is like in the ascending orders of the key of all the keys. And then this is just basically like key value printed out. And then just like delete user. So originally I struggled with this first because what I did was I find the keys of the new user, and then I first cast it into an integer, and then I put that integer in here in the mutable dictionary, but like it's not the same data type, so it's not like consistent. So what I did is that I do a nested for loop. So this nested for loop gonna run through the key values of the user dictionary, and then the second for loop is gonna run through this the key value of the new user. So A and B does not like matters. It's just like the placeholder for the parameters that you're going to run through the new user dictionary. So basically, key stands for like the key in the user info dictionary, and A stands for the keys in the new. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. So keys stand for like the keys in the user info dictionary, and A stand for like the keys in the new user dictionary. So if the keys in the user info is the same as the key in the new user dictionary, then you know that it's the match. And when that is the match, you gotta call mutable, and then you put key right here, and you put new. So what this new does is that it deletes that particular value that is associated with this key. So that means that you deleted whatever you need to do, and then you basically just sort it over with the keys in ascending orders, and then this for loop just print like the key value, and then you join them together. And this is pretty much self-explanatory. You just sort it, and then you print it. Do you guys have any questions? All right, sweet.
Thank you very much. All right, well done, Took, and thank you, Daniel. Huh? 5 minutes. Okay, you'll have to catch him at the end. Incentive for you to stay. Like I said, there will be a prize. So I'll save him for the end here. Let us move on for now to shaming Daniel for walking in late. See, just like that, all we had to do was threaten to move on without you. So, I got you set up here. I got 2 mics for you. You got to wear them both if you don't mind. All right. And these in a pocket or on the desk, whatever you like.
All right. Good to go.
Cool. Font size good?
Yes? All right, cool. So the way this works is that same idea as I was showing you yesterday. I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. So the first one, the add user, by using the put all, you kind of pretty much just combine the 2 hash tables together. So that's literally all you have to do for the add user. Then there's the delete user. So the map.entry, as I was mentioning it before, it allows to map the entry in new user, or I mean the user that we're going to delete. So you can see that .entry set, .iterator, .next allow us to pick the key. And then you see enter key equals to entry key, entry.get key. So the .get key command will work for the deleted user. And then it's just a simple .remove method for the key. And then we return that user info. And before I explain the display user, let's take a look at the main function. So in the main function, what we have here is 2 pretty simple setups. So like you have, if your option is equal to add user, you have you do a return to a hash map, and then right here we call the add user function, and return it to a variable called result add, and then we display user, so result add. Same thing for delete user. We just change the function we call, instead of add user, we call delete user and display it. And if not, we just display it. And then to display it, one of the main things with any sort of hash maps is that they're unsorted. So by doing a tree map, it allows us to keep the sorting once we sort it. And this is important because you want to display it in order. So you see here the tree map sorted, new tree map user info. Now for that, we create a for loop in which we take a look at the map entries and then sort the entry set. And then we print them out, entry.getKey, so that prints out each of the keys, followed by an array to string method, which basically we take the whole value part of the hash map and throw them in there. So the entry.getValue, and then we do a dot replace. So you know dot replace can only be done with 2 characters. I mean, you could look at other methods and they should be able to do it more efficiently, but this is the easiest method. And basically we just replace the open bracket, the closed bracket, and the commas that initially separates the two arrays, the key and the value. So that will give you the output that you need. I don't know if I can run it here. Can. Okay. Well, basically all it is it's just going to display your user list based on what you did up here on the delete and add user information. And that covers it. I think this is an important aspect for those working in Java, because I've seen a lot of projects who are working in database functions, and this will pretty much allows you to create lists, allows you to pull information, allows you to store information. So this would be very important for you guys to understand.
On the string replacements, why did you have to replace commas with commas, the last one?
This one?
Yep.
Oh, I was just taking a look into commas that have spaces and commas that have no spaces in between. So that's an important character in Java. You can't just say commas, because like there's a lot of commas. It's like commas separated by space. There's commas that have no space. So you have to make sure you correctly identify which ones you want to remove. Anybody else has any questions for me? Sounds good.
Thanks again. Okay, so first off, big thanks to Tuke and Dan for helping with the language-specific things. One of the things that's interesting here that we're trying to drive home is there's a concept of storing our information by something like a dictionary. And the concept there is that we can have a key and an entry, but implementing that, accessing it, and noodling around with them is slightly different in every language. And so what we are hoping to show you by having you switch languages from time to time in this course is kind of the difference between the concept of something like a dictionary or a loop or a variable, and then the implementation of that in a specific environment. So thanks. I know this one was a challenge. I heard a lot of people struggle with the code sprint from last Friday. And so as a friendly and nice thing to thank you for being here today and hanging through our repeated presentations of this topic, write your name on something, pass it in. You can combine these in multiple names on the same sheet. It's fine. Just give me a list of who's here. Pass them to the aisles, pass them to the front, that whole thing. And your reward, if you're wondering, is that we will go back on this code sprint and give you credit for it if you've attempted it. So, if you already did it right, then you have the pride of knowing it already. Write your name down anyway. We'll see how many people fall into that category. Huh? Your whole team? Mic drop. Write your names down. Turn yourself in. Good things to do here. Thanks, everybody. How's my font size in the back? Thank you. Okay, so I want to show you a concept. Again, this is an applied concept. It'll be helpful for many of your projects. Have you ever wondered how you can type things in wrong to a search engine and it gives you that cute little, did you mean, and then something? Yes. We're going to write that code today. And the reason that it's useful beyond correcting typos, beyond underlining things in red in certain languages when you're typing in a word editor or things like that, is that you can force certain things. Have you ever been yelled at that your new password needs to involve a certain number of uppercase and lowercase and special characters? Have you ever experienced a thing where it wants you to enter your phone number in a certain format. All of those are things that are achieved through regular expressions. And so, since most of your projects involve taking user data and manipulating it, you might want to force them to do it in a certain format. Why would you want to do that? For example, why would I want to force somebody to enter their phone number in this format? Why would that be helpful to me? Yeah. So I don't have to worry about them entering it in a way I didn't expect. And how might that mess with me if they did enter it in a way I didn't expect? Yeah. Right. However I coded it might not have worked. Is that what you were going to, something like that? Cool. That's exactly where I was going. Thanks for that. He said it might be hard to categorize by, say, area code. What if this were an app that collected 1,000 phone numbers and I wanted to know how many of my users are from Philadelphia? Well, I would check this against a range of area codes. And so you could imagine we could use some sort of a string method to, say, grab the second, third, and fourth digit in this string, and those should hold the area code. But if somebody typed it in without the parenthesis here, then the second, third, and fourth digit wouldn't be holding those values anymore. They'd have commas and parentheses and the wrong stuff in there. And so that's why, that's one example of where this might matter. Another example might be you're writing an app that displays a menu or a product catalog or something like that, and it could be really tricky to parse the user inputs from, say, the shop that is displaying this data. You want it in a certain format for the price. You want it to be $.02 maybe. Things like that. So that's what we're going to do here real quick. I'm going to show you a little bit just to get you excited about this. I would encourage you between now and Friday to give me 6 minutes of your life. This will be posted today. This link right here has a single video where they do a whole bunch of examples in JavaScript. And unlike most of the stuff in this class, it turns out that the format specifiers that we use in regular expressions are more or less language independent. And so watch it in JavaScript and it'll help you with what we're doing on Friday no matter which language you're coding in. Okay, so here's the basic idea. The first thing we need to do in Python anyhow, which is how I'm going to write today, is we need to import the regular expression module. This is where all the commands come from. And then the way we do this is something like p equals re.compile of the regular expression we want to create. So, hello. This creates a regular expression object named p, and that regular expression looks like the word hello. I could then create some other variable that I want to test for it that also says something. Let's let it get it right for now. We'll also just call that variable hello. And what I want to do is I want to find out if this happens to appear in this. Now you know the answer, but we'll mess with it in a minute. So I'm going to write a really quick code here that just says if p.search, that's a regular expression command that looks for one thing in the other of text. And so what that's saying is check text to see if it matches the regular expression named p. If that, we will print yes. Else, we will print nope. And I'll save this, and I will run it for you. And it's printed the word yes for us. Big whoop. How else could I have found out if these two strings were equal? You've done this. Yeah. Yeah, just use a double equal sign. Most languages will do string comparisons straight away. Here's where I want to get fancy. What if instead text was misspelled version of the word hello? Clearly, the way this is written right now, if I run this, what's it going to say? Nope. So let's teach this thing a short version of did you mean? What we can do is change our regular expression. And so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create a new regular expression, just overwrite the old one. But instead of HELLO, I'm going to type HEL star O. And what that star means, come over here to my little cheat sheet. So if I had AB star, it means A followed by 0 or more B's. So the way that you can read this is that I want HEL followed by 0 or more L's and then an O. And so what's neat about this is we could change this to, did you mean hello? And I could change this to, this word looks nothing like hello. And if I save this and I run it, it's now checking if there are 0 or more L's after the initial L. That becomes a true statement, and so it knows, and so it gives me a true on that if statement. And so you can imagine now we could construct all kinds of weird stuff, but this is where it gets fun. HELO works. HEO, do you think that's going to work? Yes? No? Still works because we still have 0 or more L's sitting in there. HE's followed by some number of L's. Maybe you had a sticky key. This still works. Oop, gotta save it first. Ba-ding. But I can break it still, can't I? What if I had a sticky key on my E as well? Is this going to work? This word looks nothing like hello. Okay, so that time it didn't work. Pop quiz for you here. What do I need to do to my regular expression here so that this last case works? Your hand was first. Add a star after the E. So I'm going to allow any number of E's between 0 and infinity in my string. And now when I run this, it works. Now you could imagine that things could get screwy here because I could go through and I could put a star after every single character, in which case any string on the planet that gets entered will be acceptable. So we have to think carefully about ways that people could screw this up and capture all of those. All right, so I'm going to take you through one more little example here. All of this will be posted for you to look at. I've already typed it up for you, so let's just clear this out so we can get rid of a bunch of inputs. Here's our other options, and now the challenge. We're going to write a phone number checker. Okay, so up here I've already imported the module, so I don't need to worry about that, but I do need to create my thing. So re.compile. This is where we're going to make a regular expression. And by the way, what I'm going to take you through right now is the process that I followed to actually figure this out for the first time yesterday. What we're going to do is break this into a smaller problem of just dealing with the area code first. So I want something that looks like that. Except I want it to work for any numbers, not just 1, 2, 3. Well, there's a trick for that. If I use hard brackets, I can put 0 to 9 in there, and this is a placeholder for a single integer between 0 and 9. So instead of looking for a specific letter or a specific number, I can look for any value that's in a range. I could limit this. You could use other options. I could say A to Z, inside the brackets, A to Z. And now it's looking for, in that slot of our string, a letter between A and Z. But we want 0 to 9, so let's do that. But we want 3 of them, not just 1. So one way to do that is I could put a star, and that would accept as many digits as they wanted to type in. I could come over here to my cheat sheet, and here's a neat little trick. If I use curly braces, what I could do is I could have A followed by exactly 3 B's. Well, here what I want is exactly 3 numbers between 0 and 9. And so I can go like so. And that will give me exactly 3 digits. Okay, so we save that. Let's make our text equal to an area code. What's the Philadelphia area code? 215? Okay, we'll make it 215. And the code that we want to use to check this, I just deleted, but we can type it again really quick here. It's if, my syntax right, if p.search of text, so if that's true, print, what do I want to print here? How about we'll print the phone number. We'll just print it out. Else, I want to see what's going on here, so my else statement, what I'm going to do is have it print the phone number plus the words is an invalid number. What have I messed up? Oh, look at that. There we go. Boom. Okay, so save this and run it. And it worked. It's printed it out. So what that means is that we hit the true case, because if it were false, it would do this. And I can demo that for you by changing this to a G. Now when I run this, it's an invalid number because G is not an integer between 0 and 9, and it wants 3 of them. But I like the idea of dummy checking this, so I'm going to try something. I'm going to get rid of my parentheses and see if this works. So this happened to me when I was working on it. Somehow this is still evaluating to true. And I discovered the issue is that these parentheses are actually reserved symbols. If I want it to actually search, just like this bracket, it's not searching for a bracket. That bracket specifies a thing inside of it. Parentheses do that too. And so if I actually want it to look for a parenthesis after a little bit of web searching, I discovered you have to put slashes in front of them. So when it sees slash in a character, it means look exactly for this character. So if I put that in there and I run it, now it says it's invalid. But if I put my parentheses back and run it, we're good to go. All right, so bite-sized problems, right? What's the next thing I should add? Yeah. Oh, we could, yeah, we could make this really smart and start having it correct certain area codes and doing that kind of things. But let's focus just on getting to the whole phone number. You're right. That's exactly what I just showed you, though. So I baited you there, I guess. So if I'm taking baby steps into this, what's the next thing I could add to this if I want to get from where we're at now to a full phone number? Yeah. I could check for a dash after 3 numbers. That skipped a couple things though, right? Because before that dash, I've got a space and then 3 numbers. Then we got the dash, then we got 4 numbers, right? So let's just start by adding the space. And if I want to check for 3 more numbers, how do I do that? Yeah. Same thing. So all of this, just to check for 3 numbers, no parentheses. All right, so just take the parentheses out. We can just grab this part like so and put it right there. So now I'm checking for 3 more integers, believe it or not, and followed by a space. And so if I run this right now, it's going to yell at me probably because it doesn't have the second half of this string. So I need a space and then 3 more digits, 555. So if I run this one, now it works. And we can break this lots of ways, right? Like I can take the space out and see if it works without the space. And it yells at me. What if I typed 4 digits instead of 3? Well, that's weird. I specified very explicitly that I want 3 of them. I typed in 4, and somehow it says, yeah, that's good. Theories. Yeah. There are 3 numbers. There's just an extra one. So it's happy. It checked. It found a thing that looks like parenthesis, 3 numbers, parenthesis, space, 3 numbers. And so then it stopped looking. So what I need to do is tell it to terminate this thing at the end of the line. And that just happens to be a $sign. And so if I run this now, it says it's invalid. Because I want this exact thing and I want it to stop at the end of the line. And so I put this $sign in there. Okay, so we fixed that one. And I'm pretty sure that if I replace this 5 with a N, that's a typo that it won't let me get away with. Bink, yep, okay, cool. All right, now we'll do the part you suggested where we add the last digits. We want a dash, and then we want 4 more digits. If I want 4 digits, what do? Huh? Curly braces and a 4. Boom. Okay. And so now if I run this, I will have broken it again, I'm sure, because I don't have that asked for. Okay, so I'll put a dash in and 7654. Drop some numbers in there. And if I run it, we now have it checking that it's a valid phone number. So that's cool. And we can check that we haven't done anything else silly, like if I get rid of the dash, does it still work? And the answer is invalid. Okay, so dash is not one of the reserved commands that we need to put a slash in front of. That's nice. If I drop a letter into this one, that doesn't pass, so that's good. What if I have extra digits here? All right, my $sign trick still works. What if I have text out front by accident? That one passed. Theories. Yeah. We found the numbers. They are in there. There's just some extra crap in front of it. It's the exact same problem we had as the $sign problem. So how do you think I fix it? Yeah. Put a $sign in front. Right concept, wrong character. Turns out, for whatever reason, we do a leading entry with a caret instead of a $sign, but that caret means the same thing as the $sign, but for the beginning of a line instead of for the end of it. And so now if I run this, it's going to tell us that hi there, whatever is an invalid number. And so you can see here that if I just have the proper number, it'll work. If I drop a parenthesis out, I think it'll still work. Boom. Cool. And so there we have created a regular expression that checks phone numbers. And as you can see, it's fairly complicated. But the process that I built it with was start small and work your way up. Questions? Yeah?
You wouldn't have to escape so much if you use raw strings before you compile it, or as you compile it.
Raw strings.
Yeah, you just put an R in front of your string,
Uh-huh.
and you don't have to escape most special characters except for backslash.
Okay, so something else you'll want to Google is about raw strings, and it might get you around some of these escape characters because it will ignore things automatically. I'll leave that to the interested student. Other questions? All right, I think we made it then. I'll post this in step-by-step format. I've got it typed out line by line, all the different tests we did and why it didn't work in the fixes. That'll all be up on Canvas for you. I'd like to give you the last 10 minutes here to make a powwow with your group. If you've got some dangling parts of your project that you need to get on the same page for, let's use this time for that. Make sure that I get that attendance record here so that I can give you credit for coming today and for participating in this. And we will see you on Friday for the code sprint. Thanks, everybody. Yep.
Highlighting makes it really hard to see what you're doing.
On the string. Okay.
Just because it makes it white on